Yes, comrades, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for following and keeping updated on what is going on in Uganda. Now, this is interesting. On the 1st of June is a day that General Katumba Wamala will never forget in his life. A day when tragedy and luck hit at the same time. Why tragedy and luck? Well, tragedy because he lost his daughter, known as Brenda, and luck because he survived an assassination. Now, assassinations in Uganda aren't something new. The only uncommon thing is either the victim, or the nuance is usually the victim, the status, and the time of assassination, as well as the perpetrators. But in most instances, the perpetrators do not change. Now, the targeting of Katumba Wamala is quite unique, given he is a unique figure too, in a sense that he was a former IGP, a former Chief of Defense Forces, that is CDF, a former minister, and on top of that, being a general. Now, Uganda is used to assassinations. It is part of our lives nowadays. But we have been often used to the murder of Muslims, that is the sheikhs, NRM fanatics like Biriga, and as well as police officers, for that case Kawesi, as well as Chirumira. Now, but attempting to kill someone of Katumba's rank and caliber is something that shouldn't be taken lightly, because it explains a lot of issues on the kind of murders or the kind of phase that we are entering today. Now, one being that the assailants nowadays not only go after, low-ranking Ugandans, your regular Ugandans out there, or your regular policemen out there who are very vocal and things of this sort. Now, they have now shifted the gear up to people of status and stature. That is to say, ministers, that is to say, government officials, military officials, generals, and so on and so forth. So every general out there and ministers should watch out. Now, there are some generals who have been killed in the past, but not in, a hail of bullets like we are seeing today. The likes of Kazinis, Mayombos, these ones, it is claimed that they were assassinated through poison and all this kind of stuff. But Katumba is a very unique case, even to the generals of the past that we have seen. Now, when such matters happen, the reactions from Ugandans has somewhat or always been the same. We all come out and speak how insecure Uganda is. We start saying, yes, Katumba Wamala, you deserved it, and so on and so forth. I have no right to tell how someone should, mourn or someone should react to these instances. But the reaction has been the same over and over again. And I think our reactions in most of these times, during these times, it plays right into the hands of the murderers and the perpetrators of these crimes. Now, it is part of the system. To keep Uganda insecure. If the country was secure, Museveni would not have been in power for 35 years. The way Museveni designed his kind of rule, or the way he rules Uganda, it is designed to be insecure. So when you complain about insecurity, there's nothing that is going to change, because that is how the system is designed. When you design a computer and it is designed to run on Windows 10, right? If you put there, a Mac or a Mac operating system, you will not get the best out of a Windows computer as you would have gotten out if it was running Windows 10. Let's say. I don't know if that analogy makes sense, but that is how Museveni's government works. It works on principles of insecurity. Now, we need to rethink and stop on how we approach these matters and start asking the right questions. You see, the kind of questions that the assailants and the orchestrators of these murders do not want us to ask. And the questions are simple. Number one, why would you kill Katumba Wamala? Why would you kill the Muslim sheikhs? What is the motive? These are questions that are irregularly asked whenever a murder takes place or whenever someone dies under unclear circumstances. The people of Uganda always, try to demand for reports and all this kind of stuff, but you're not going to get the truth. But then you can always sit back and try to analyze and see, why would someone want Katumba Wamala dead? For me, that is what is interesting. I've cried so much in the past. I've blamed so many ministers and so many people who have been killed in the past. But now I need to understand the issue. Why would someone target General Katumba Wamala, a former Chief of Defense Forces, CDF, a former minister, and a former IGP? Now, well, there are a couple of reasons. A few reasons here and there that I might think might be of interest of a person like you who is watching me. Now, before you go into these reasons, please subscribe, like, comment, and do everything for the channel to grow. Now, there's a issue that I've been always talking about here on this channel that people have not been following for quite a very long period of time. And this particular issue is the issue to deal with Congo and the search for a new war for Museveni. You see, when dictators become unpopular within their countries, they look for new wars, they look for diversions and something of that sort, if you can call it that if you want. You will see that the dictator, the former dictator of Uganda, Idi Amin, attacked Kagera Salient in order to rally the Ugandans with him. Most dictators across the world, Zimbabwe, Sudan, Syria, Iraq, all these people, they will look for a new war where to put their troops. Now, Congo intervention is very interesting, because one of you might ask, now, how does Congo come into Katumba Wamala's murder? Well, listen carefully. See, earlier this year, the United States of America declared the Allied Democratic Forces, also known as the ADF rebels in Eastern Congo, as an ISIS outfit, calling it ISIS in the DRC. Even though experts have come out and say that, these people are not even worth to be called ISIS in the DRC, right? But they have disregarded that information, and they are continuing with the narrative that there is ISIS in the Congo. Now, when this happened, the Ugandan government built an outpost on the border between Uganda as well as the Congo. Now, months later, the government of the DRC declared a state of emergency in the eastern part of Congo and invited Museveni in a joint operation to help send the ISIS rebels out of the Congo. I've been covering all these things on this channel. If you look around somewhere, you will find them. Now, as we are all aware, the UPDF deployed in the Congo a couple of weeks ago. In fact, they're even building roads there. Right? They're even building roads. Whatever is happening in the Congo, there is a lot that is going on that Ugandans do not know about. Now, when fighting in the Congo, you need to know that Uganda's presence in the Congo needs a justification, not just an invitation. An invitation by the Tshisekedi government is not enough. So you need a more plausible pretext, or you need a more plausible justification for your presidency in the Congo, because Congo is also a sovereign state. Now, Museveni knows what he does best, so why not make up one? Look for another justification and bring it together with the invite that the Congolese government gave you, and then you take it from there. Now, since it's the ISIS in the Congo, I think these people decided, especially the people in Kampala, they're like, okay, maybe let us come up with an attack in Kampala and blame it on terrorists or blame it on ADF or ISIS. Now, given that ISIS attacked you and the government of Congo invited you, that's a very big plausible excuse, a very big plausible pretext for you to fully enter the Congo, 3.0, because we have been there twice, and this would be the third time. And now, for all the army that is in Somalia, whatever the election outcome is in Somalia, they will be taken out, and then that energy will all be thrown in the eastern part of the Congo. So that is why we see that Katumba Wamala's murder would play so much into this. Now, because if the government of Uganda says that the people who killed Katumba Wamala are ADF or ISIS terrorists, then bang, full swing, you're going to see UPDF troops being deployed in the Congo. Which is really interesting, isn't it? Because ADF has no capacity to operate within Uganda. I doubt. You cannot tell me that a government that has been in Somalia, Congo, and all these other regions cannot find people who have killed Ugandans for the past, 20 years. It's not possible. Now, the other issue is that maybe Katumba Wamala is a threat to Museveni's future plans. You see, Museveni wants to enforce his son Muhoozi Kainerugaba on Ugandans. But the problem is, Muhoozi is very unpopular within the military as well as the public. Now, we know that the military is very divided on tribal lines. Now, this is a very important point because Katumba Wamala comes from Buganda, or the central region, or comes from Buganda tribe. And it's the majority tribe in the country. So it means that they have some people within the military that subscribe to Buganda kingdom, just like other people who come from other tribes. They are also part of the UPDF. Now, just like other people, who come from, what I'm trying to explain here is that Katumba Wamala is a very high-ranking military official, a general. And so many people who come from Buganda, Bugandas in Buganda, his tribe, look up to him, just like other people from other tribes would look up to high-ranking military officers within the UPDF. So Katumba Wamala is a person of that stature or status that people would look up to. So now, as a matter of fact, that is a threat, especially if Museveni is having his son and also having people like David Muhoozi to command the army. And then you have these people do not believe in people like David Muhoozi, but they are mostly aligned to people, high-ranking officials from their tribal lineages. It's something very, very worrying. So, what does this mean? So, in the event that Museveni is away, Katumba might become an enormous threat. By meaning Museveni being away is either he has resigned it to his son, or he has given it to someone else, or he's dead. Let's say, for example, for argument's sake. Now, Katumba Wamala might become a big threat. Now, this big threat, Katumba Wamala also can easily canvass a support base with Bobi Wine, given the fact that they share the same tribe. I wouldn't like to discuss this tribal thing, but I'm trying to make an analysis on the entire situation to understand it. So, how is Katumba a threat? Katumba is a threat because you have a popular, a very, very popular person in Uganda as well as Buganda, Bobi Wine. Now, for most people who have been saying that, okay, Bobi Wine cannot control the army, well, you have Katumba Wamala over there, so he can play that card. So it can become a very enormous threat in case Museveni is out of the picture. Now, as a matter of fact, if I'm Museveni and I sense something like that, it means that the Uganda becomes too small for the two of you. So one of them has to go for Museveni's succession plans to come to fruition. Either Katumba goes or Museveni goes, and then that means that Museveni's plans, they will not be working out. So Uganda is just too small for these two people to be together in one way or the other. Now, we all know General Katumba is an individual who has benefited from the system and the establishment, accumulating a lot of wealth. Katumba is a very, very wealthy man. Very wealthy. He has a lot of money, right? So, from being an IGP in the early 2000s to becoming a CDF and then Minister of Works, surely these portfolios have made him very wealthy. You see, as a CDF, he was tasked with tackling illegal fishing on lakes, that is on Lake Victoria, Lake Choga, Lake Albert. Fishing was going on. So the government came out and was like, okay, illegal fishing, and they put that department under the UPDF instead of putting it under the Ministry of Fisheries. Now, given that he was the CDF at the time when illegal fishing was put under the CDF's command and control. What really happened is that the government had realized that fishing was actually profitable, especially with the discovery of new markets like in China. So the army under Katumba Wamala took over all fishing sites and lakes under the pretext of tackling illegal fishing. But yet, Katumba and company carried out a lot of illegal fishing operations, making themselves very wealthy as well as rich. Now, as a minister of transport, the transport ministry is one of the most important ministries for Museveni. Museveni has once and again used this ministry to borrow huge sums of money, and in return he has stolen huge sums of money through the ministry of transport and all this kind of stuff. So Katumba Wamala has been a state minister for transport and this kind of thing, right? Now, for anyone to work within this ministry, he has to be in on the game of theft. Like, you have to be, like, if you're not in to steal for this game of theft, you don't qualify to be in this ministry. Now, you should also remember that it is this ministry during Katumba's reign that Uganda had a very huge mega project of the Uganda Airlines to be revived. Now, what is interesting is I've been covering the Uganda Airlines still on this channel, and you can go and look around. But Katumba Wamala has been involved in the saga of the failure of the Uganda Airlines and all this kind of stuff. Now, you should remember that according to the Auditor General's report on Uganda Airlines in the financial year 2019 and 2020, they found out that Uganda Airlines made a loss of 102.4 billion Ugandan shillings. That is something like 24 million US dollars through corruption, overpricing of equipments and services and things of that sort. Now, of course, the beneficiaries of all these losses that the Uganda Airlines is making, Katumba must be one of the people out there, like it or not. Now, this is a problem. It is a problem because if you pair Katumba's influence in the military among a faction of people who come from the central, as well as the likelihood that he could work easily with Bobby Wine and easily work with Bobby Wine, if you know what I mean, yeah, and having that support within the military, and also having used these portfolios as the IGP, as the CDF, tackling illegal fishing, as the Minister of Transport, it means that he has acquired a lot of wealth. Now, with acquiring money and having a faction of people that believe in you in the military, and having a prospect of being able to work with His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, well, that creates a very definite threat to the status quo of Museveni and his cabal of individuals. So, as a result, it means that Katumba Wamala is a threat that has to be neutralized. Now, also, while working in these positions, Katumba must have rubbed some people in the wrong way. You should not, think that Katumba is, a saint and all this kind of stuff. But working within these ministries, working in Museveni's government, we all know this. It is very easy to step on people's foots in the wrong way, and so some people maybe wanted to send him a message. So, it is really interesting that so many reasons would surface to target Katumba Wamala. But before I leave you, there is this issue that there is a section, most of you should understand that there is a section within Museveni's ranks that wants to grab power and take over either before or after his death. And this section is preparing itself. Different sections are preparing themselves to grab or take over. The dictator is getting old and sleeping in public, even during official functions so many times. So the competing forces of power are trying to eliminate each other under a simple rule of either kill or be killed. Some sort of purge that is going on. Now, this is really, really dangerous, as it is most likely to lead to extreme violence amongst these people within the NRM. And when the men with guns start killing each other, things are only going to get worse from where we are today. Lastly, we should also consider, the possibility that someone is covering their tracks and creating a diversion. You see, Museveni is under a lot of pressure, for the killings and murders that happened in November last year that left over 60 people dead. So by creating a diversion, they sit and say, oh, maybe how about we kill one of our own, like a high-ranking person, and blame it on the terrorists so that we make the murder of civilians go away, rendering Katumba a sacrificial lamb. By doing this, they hit, one stone with they hit 5 birds with 4 stones. You neutralize Katumba, you take him away, you invade the Congo and all this kind of stuff. And then you take this thing away of the murders that happened in November of 60 people. So by doing that, you only have to make Katumba a sacrificial lamb. Well, all cards are on the table. And let's just wait and see. We are going to play the waiting game and see what these people come up with. And I promise you we shall get them, because they are likely to trip somewhere somehow. I don't know what you think about my simple analysis on these matters, but I thought that I would share these issues with you to try to look at this entire assassination attempt in a completely different angle. I feel sorry for the lady that lost her life as well, because she's Ugandan, and some of these people, family members, at times some of them might be innocent, and some of them are trying as hard as they can to tell their fathers, to tell their mothers, and to tell these perpetrators that please stop, and maybe their fathers don't listen or something of that sort. So sorry for Brenda, and we hope that everything goes well. Tell me what you think about my analysis, and please do not forget to share, do not forget to subscribe, do not forget to support the channel in one way or the other to bring you more content like this. Have a blessed one. Bye bye.